The atmosphere in European football last weekend was absolutely electrifying. In England, we saw Leicester City, that had their destinies in their own hands, deliver the Champions League spot to Chelsea. Now, we saw a similar situation in Italy, where Napoli needed to win Hellas Verona to send Juve to the Europa League spot. But of course, they failed to deliver. Now, the drama was also in Spain. Last day, it was very emotional for most teams. Luis Suarez, of course, winning the league with Atletico Madrid. Lots of things to talk about, even in Ligue 1, where PSG, even though they won their last game, could not win the league. What a drama that was. Thanks for joining us on this week's episode of Sport Pizza, where we give you the absolute best in the very exciting world of sports. My name is Bronson Uwana. Thank you so much. We'll take a very quick break. When we come back, my strike partner, Lacone Philippe, will be coming on. Welcome back. Now, Olakule Philip, my strike partner, joins me at this time. Kule, good to have you on the program.
Thank you very much, Bronson Uwana. It's great to be here once again to talk sports. And just like you said, it was drama all over the top leagues in Europe, from Spain to Italy, and of course to the English Premier League. And for my darling Arsenal, it wasn't a bad end for us, but of course, Arsenal were hoping to qualify for the Europa Conference League, but the position was taken by Tottenham Hotspur. So I think it was really very exciting the way things went down all over Europe. I think I can't wait to begin to talk about them.
As a matter of fact, Kunle, for a team that cannot qualify to Europe, I think it should be said that it's a capital failure for a team of the caliber of Arsenal.
I don't know what to say.
You are allowing West Ham ahead of Arsenal to get to Europe. You shouldn't be speaking.
You know, West Ham United were also above Tottenham Hotspur. Have you forgotten? West Ham United all qualified directly into the UEFA Europa League. So if you are launching attack at Arsenal, you can also launch attack as Tottenham Hotspur.
Okay,
but really, in terms of pedigree, we are way above Tottenham Hotspur. I hope you will agree with me.
No,
probably if Mourinho was still the coach of Tottenham,
maybe they would have qualified.
They would have qualified.
Or probably
disagreed.
And also won the FA Cup.
They would not have won the FA Cup.
Okay.
They would not have won
so
it.
So we can't talk about that because it is the final. But it was good that you realized that Arsenal is not in the same class as West Ham. Otherwise, I would have pegged you guys.
No, that's not what I mean. No.
Let's start in England. It was a very beautiful final day in England. We saw exciting football. But guys, let's talk about Leicester for a moment. Because I felt very hot at Leicester. They had their destiny in their own hands. Aston Villa were doing the dirty deal. And Leicester just needed to win. And it was most hurting because Chelsea lost and qualified to the Champions League. And Leicester City needed to beat Tottenham right in front of their own fans, right in front of their owner.
Was disappointing. A very disappointing result, I must say. I think it boils down to inexperience on the part of Leicester City. For a team who really did well from the start of the league, at a point in time in the league, they were second. And we're talking about it before now that, it takes a lot to win the league because it's a round-robin game where you play games week in, week out. And even during the week, you can play as many as two games or thereabout, particularly during the Christmas period. So, Leicester had it all to play. They had a very glorious chance, and considering the fact that Chelsea were losing against Aston Villa, come on! At a point in time, they were leading, and Jamie Vardy getting the first goal via penalty, and when you check the live score, you'll see Leicester in the third position. Liverpool were coasting in their own game. And it was just boiling down to Chelsea and Leicester City. And all of a sudden, Tottenham Hotspur got the equalizer and they got the third goal. And, it was disappointing for the players. They let everyone down. And then for our player, Kelechi Iheanacho, I was expected much from him. But you get to see him not really playing. Really, the players don't really get that consistency on a regular basis. There are times that you play well, while some other times, you are a shadow of your former self. So it wasn't a good performance for player like Kelechi Iheanacho on that day. And, you know, it was expected that these guys would come up against Tottenham Hotspur, but it was obvious that Tottenham needed the game the more, considering the fact that Arsenal were coasting against Brighton, and if Arsenal had won that game and Tottenham has lost,
they would have gone
to the conference. So they needed to up their game, and of course they got the job done, getting 2 goals in almost about 6 minutes.
And who else do that? Gareth Bale. I mean, the first finish was fantastic.
Fantastic.
And of course, the 4th goal, I mean, it has to be Gareth Bale. It was a very good game. Now, as the game ended, or at the end of the season, Manchester City, of course, were crowned champions. No doubt about that. They played very good football. Even on the last day, they were very fantastic. Manchester United, of course, won their game away from home. The only team in England who never lost away from home this season. Fantastic.
I said it when you play. Someone said they won their game. Their last game, despite the fact that they were playing away from home, and they rested some of their top players.
They rested as much as 10 players.
10 players, and I said as much as they are not playing the game at home. Once they are playing away from home, you can be sure that Manchester United will get a win.
And of course, the drama we just spoke about, Chelsea, against all odds, lost their last game, of course, but qualified to UEFA Champions League. Leicester City, no thanks to them, found themselves in the Europa position. Europa League is very difficult because you play more games than you play in the UEFA Champions League.
An advantage for Arsenal.
And okay, let's see if Arsenal can even lash in on that to even make Europa spots next season. Also, West Ham United made it to the league now. Fulham, of course, relegated. West Bromwich Albion relegated. Sheffield United, all these teams, God thank you for coming to the English Premier League. And of course, we'll be seeing some exciting teams in the English Premier League next season. One of those teams is the return of Norwich City back to the league. Norwich, I mean, they played fine football in the Championship last season. We hope that they'll grace us with that kind of football this season.
We have Watford as well.
Watford as well, coming automatically. And of course, we'll be letting you know on the team next week. But let's go straight to Spain, where it was another fantastic moment. Most of the team left it to the last day. Big drama. Luis Suarez got the winning goal. The rejected stone won the league ahead of his former club, Barcelona. And of course, for me, the most emotional part was his comment where he said Barcelona threw him away. They didn't believe in him. Of course, he appreciated his new employers for believing in him. And of course, he has paid back that belief with the trophy.
I was really very delighted. I was very happy for, Atletico Madrid. From the start of the league, they were more, prolific. They had more. They were more decisive in terms of taking points, and at the point in time, they took their foot off the gas pedal, allowing other top teams. Talking about Real Madrid.
They dropped points, but they never left that first position.
Yes, and when a team like Barcelona had a very good chance of toppling them, of displacing them in that position, they still, they couldn't do that, and they kept on winning. I think in the latter part of the league, they knew that this was a trophy for the take for them, and of course they didn't let that slip. So I was really very excited for them. For Luis Suarez, he played a very pivotal role in ensuring that Atletico Madrid wins it after about 6-7 years. That was the last time they actually won it, and the manner in which he left Barcelona was really it was so disrespectful for a player in his mode, a player who scored a lot of goals for the club. And when the new coach and of course the management came, they came up with the decision that they don't require his services anymore. And Atletico Madrid, looking at what he has to offer, it reminds me of what happened with Barcelona and Samuel Eto'o Fields and Inter Milan as well.
Yes.
When he was told that he could leave. When Pep was even Pep Guardiola that came in at that time, and he was told that he could leave. And Inter Milan, Jose Mourinho knew what a lot that he's got a lot of his sleeves.
And of course, that's
they won the UEFA Champions League.
Next season, they went on to win UEFA Champions League. So, so for FC Barcelona, for Barcelona fan, I respect the club a lot. But when that happened in the summer last season, I felt very bad for Suarez, and that made me, I don't want to say had bad belly for FC Barca, but I'm particularly happy that Suarez left. Don't forget that Messi was very furious with that decision of the coach to have let him go. But that happened, and then the rest is history. Atletico Madrid finished top of the table, 86 points, closely followed by Real Madrid. Madrid left it late. Bronson,
I go with Nigerian players, anywhere Nigerian players play, I didn't want Madrid to win because I wanted to see, the Nigerian player Samuel Chukwueze play in the Europa League. But yeah, they still did well. They came. They are going to the conference and they give it their all. It really speaks volume about how the coach has been able to transform the team. Yes, they are not in the top 4 right now, but I think if they continue with the way, in the manner they are going,
they have a chance of getting to the Champions League. They need to win the Europa League finals. That's the shortcut of getting to the Champions League. And Sevilla also made the top 4. Sevilla left it late, winning in the 91st minute with a fantastic strike. Relegated from the Spanish La Liga, we have US Carrier, Valladolid, and Eibar. These 3 teams will be playing in Segunda next season. On that note, let's take a very quick break. When we come back, more analysis to come. Don't go away. Welcome back. Now, in Italy, it was drama all the way. I mean, no one saw AC Milan going away to Atalanta to get all the important points. That's how valuable or how much they needed to be in the Champions League after lots of absence. But you have to give credit to the Milan management crew. Managed good game management, of course, away from home, 2-0 over Atalanta. And of course, they solidified their place, second place behind City rivals Inter Milan. And of course, Atalanta third. And Guy, let's talk about this game because I mean, it affected me personally in all ramifications.
Can you tell us how it affected you?
As a Nigerian, it affected me because Napoli needed to win that game. Whether Juve wins or not, they needed to win to get to Champions League. But destiny in their hand, they could not beat Hellas Verona in the last day.
It was disappointing. I didn't see that coming. I think I wasn't surprised that AC Milan defeated Atalanta. It was a tale of 2 games and 2 teams that knows their onion. They know that it was important for them to win. And for a team like Atalanta, I knew that even if they had lost by probably, if the margin is very low, probably I'm sure that Juve will have dropped out. But AC Milan, it speaks volume of how well they've played this season, their consistency and all of that. At the point in time, they gave Inter Milan a good run for their money before they capitulated. So for that game, I mean for the big one, the cracker, I was expecting, it wasn't even supposed to be a cracker as far as I'm concerned. I was expecting Verona to lose to Juve at the Diego Armando Maradona Stadium. What you need to do is just to win by 1 goal, 2 goals to 1, and you'll be home and dry. Leave whatever happens between Bologna and Juventus. And they let it slip. It was a very disappointing for them, a disappointing result for them. And the coach of the side, Gattuso, has actually thrown the towel because he said he feels so disappointed that he could not qualify the team for Europe. With all the efforts they put in place all through the season, they allowed it to slip with this disappointing draw against Hellas Verona.
Very sad must be said, and I think Gattuso should have stayed back because he has
led speculations. I think the management have been talking about sacking him and all of that. The fact that they are not getting the desired result. You remember that I think at the point in time it was against Bologna. They had a good chance at home. They drew the game when they had a very good chance of winning, and probably they would have moved up. There are some games that automatically Napoli should have won.
This is happening in football, but of course, he let that slip away. Next season, they'll be playing in the second tier of the European competition. Now, let's go straight to France. France was very exciting because the 2 big guns that were slugging out, that were gunning for the league title, played their last games away from home. So even Lille, for most takers, they were at the edge because they didn't. Most people didn't know if to say Lille would win, but at some point we knew PSG were going to win. But did we expect Lille to win on the final day?
I was expecting Lille to win. Lille are vastly experienced. They are one of the top teams in the French League. Yes, we have Lille, we have Lyon, we have Paris Saint-Germain, we have Marseille. But when you talk about those teams, you also want to talk about Lille. Lille have been producing, they've been amazing. They've been producing top-class players in recent time. Remember that was where even our own Victor Moses came from. So I think I wasn't disappointed about it. I wasn't surprised that they actually won it. I was disappointed with Paris Saint-Germain, but because it hasn't been the best of season for them since Mauricio Pochettino took over. this is the first time in almost 3-4 seasons or thereabout that we're not going to be seeing Paris Saint-Germain winning the league. But Brownson, I was disappointed in Nantes, where we have our own Moses Simon. They had a very good chance again. I think it was against Strasbourg. And playing at home, they took their foot off the gas pedal after going up. I think they were up at some point. And, we were talking about it last week that most of them, the teams at the bottom and those in the 10th position, 10th, 11th, 12th position, stands a good chance. They stand a chance of dropping, or being relegated if they drop points. And that was exactly what happened with the team. And they had a very good chance. If they had probably won or drawn that game,
they could have stayed top. But as it stands now, they finished 18, and I think there's this playoff in France, but they still stand a chance. But Nantes, Nimes, and Sporting Gijon has been relegated to the lower division. Of course, Monaco is in the playoff position in the Champions League, and of course, in the Europa League position, we have Lyon and Olympique de Marseille. And it's funny because Marseille used to be one of the strong force in France, but how times can change so fast. And now to the NPFL, where we had exciting results. It was absolutely buzzing last weekend, and Kano Pillars still holding their stake in the top position of the league. Of course, Akwa United showing that they've got all it takes. Kano Pillars, of course, that has Super Eagles captain Ahmed Musa, played, and of course, away from home, they were able to grind out a draw.
Yes, Brownson, a good result for Kano Pillars. The previous game, they won by 1-0 with the goal scored by ageless Rabiu Ali. And then against Katsina United last week again, they played, away from home, and they were able to ground out, at least get a share of the spoil. Ahmed Musa still captain at the side to really, throw away the rumor about the fact that Ahmed Musa, because there's this speculation that says Ahmed Musa will not be traveling with the team, when they play away from home. So, by virtue of that result, they maintain, they moved to the top position with 41 points. And then, Aqua United are also there. They also are giving, Kano Pillars a good run for their money. It remains to be seen whether Kano Pillars will be able to maintain the number one position, considering the fact that Ahmed Musa, there's this rumor about whether Ahmed Musa will be leaving for West Bromwich Albion, will be departing for Europe as soon as. But with the fact that he's here, he's still very much around, it's a good one for them.
But I tell you stuff, Ahmed Musa would not finish the season with Kano Pillars. Certainly. Because once transfer window opens, and I'm sure the contract he signed allows him to walk away at any time. Yeah. The guy wants to play in Europe. I don't think Kano Pillars can pay his bills.
Absolutely. He's not even getting paid. He's playing for free.
He's playing for free. So, we have to be factual about that. Now, let's go straight to boxing for all those that have been craving to see the boxing between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. You have to wait a little longer because the table seems to have changed. WBC World Heavyweight Champion Tyson Fury has signed his contract to face Deontay Wilder on the 24th of July. That came as a surprise to us. Now, Fury, of course, is 32-year-old, looks set to finalize a fight for all 4 world titles against Anthony Joshua in Saudi Arabia, but that has been halted because of some contractual agreement that they had with Tyson Fury, with Deontay Wilder. But the all-British affair fell through when Wilder's team won the arbitration hearing, stating that the American had a right to a third fight, and I'm really shocked at that kind of clause. Fury attended Josh Taylor's win over Jose Ruiz in Las Vegas last week Saturday, where he signed his fight contract. I understand that when you lose a title, there's always a rematch. But having a rematch, it's kind of surprising to me.
I don't like the way the kind of contract that was signed. Tyson Fury was also disappointed with that, and when the news broke out, it stipulates. It depends on, when you sign a contract, it is expedient to honor the contract, and that's exactly what the legal team are talking about. The first time they fought, it ended in a draw, and the second time you saw what happened. Tyson Fury taking Deontay Wilder to the cleaners, and immediately it was announced. He felt very bad and said, "Look, he's going to wrap up his call open. He's going to ensure that it doesn't take less than a few minutes before."
But the danger in this one is that if he loses to Deontay Wilder, I mean, the fight with Joshua would never see the
We'll
light
never
of day.
see the light of the
So,
day. And you know, Joshua has also been told to also engage in a bout.
Yes.
Probably if he also wins the bout, and the Tyson Fury also gets a win against Deontay Wilder, I think the bout might still see the light of the day before the end of the year.
Welcome back. Now, with that, is a wrap on our show today. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Once I appreciate all the guys that have gone to our social media platforms, and want to also encourage you to go to all our social media platforms currently displaying on your screen right now. Like, follow, and comment. I would really appreciate to hear from you. Thank you very much, Olakule Philip, for being here.
Brownson, it's always a pleasure to be here. And I just want to say this on a lighter note, that if I were to be Deontay Wilder, I will not fight Tyson Fury based on the previous experience in the last
The guy was asking for £40 million for not to get the fight. That's a wrap. Let's do it again next week. Until then, please stay safe. My name remains Brownson Uwana.